edition of the DDS Squad Pod. I am your host, the Enforcer Len Anderson, joining you live today from the Enforcement Entertainment LLC studios here at an undisclosed location in parts unknown. Checking in for another week of Beyond Wrestling Uncharted Territory, episode 16. We are 16 weeks into this run. When you think about it, it's kind of amazing. You know, this Beyond Wrestling, everybody knows the background where it started as a backyard wrestling and has grown into the juggernaut, the star maker of professional wrestling that it is today. It's come a long way, and this risk that they took to produce a weekly live episodic program that airs from one location, pretty much one location each week, is a throwback. It really is. And it's something that they've done very successfully. They've grown. They outgrew their first spot, 4 or 6 weeks in, 8 weeks in. They ended up having to move from Electric Haze over to the White Eagle and drawing a bigger crowd, starting at about 300 people. And, I think one week they had almost 700 people in that room, which is pretty amazing. So it's great to see what they're doing, and really exciting time in professional wrestling. And the indie scene right now is it's really tremendously healthy. And Beyond has played a huge part in continuing to feed that system, feed that monster above them, that WWE monster that comes down and takes the talents away from us and makes them into the next stars of the future through NXT and then on to Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and AEW, because a lot of this roster that's on Beyond is going to be in AEW in the next few months on their next show, All Out, Chicago, August 31st. So let's talk about Uncharted Territory, episode 16, live from the White Eagle in Worcester, Massachusetts. I was going to say sunny Worcester, Massachusetts, but it wasn't a sunny day. It was a pretty nasty weather day with severe thunderstorms, and we were lucky that we didn't lose power on this one, and that they were able to bring us the show. Those guys behind the scenes, hats off to them, and of course to the people at independentwrestling.tv for doing a tremendous job to continue to bring us these shows on a weekly basis, plus the extra shows on the weekends that they do. So if you're not a subscriber to Independent Wrestling TV, go ahead and log in, sign up, and use that promo code Uncharted to help us get to season 2 of Uncharted Territory, hopefully in the near future. Nothing's been announced yet. Hopefully we hear something maybe post-Rana. I'm not sure, but I got my fingers crossed, and I'm hoping for the best, because I'm really enjoying it, and I enjoy making the trips up there when I can. And as a matter of fact, I believe this Wednesday night, Ryan and I are heading up, and we're going to check out the show, the go-home show, as I like to call it, before Americanrana. And speaking of Americanrana, the build has been tremendous. We've been getting cohesive and coherent storylines to lead us into where we're heading with Americanrana at Foxwoods Resort Casino, July 28th, which is just a little more than a week away as I record this Friday evening here, like I said, from parts unknown. So I got the card here in my notes. Let me pull it up here, and in some notes that I took from the show, let's go over some of that stuff here, and then we'll talk about Americanrana a little bit, and the lead up that's getting us to there. So this week we open up the show with John Silver versus Layla Hirsch, and John Silver, he's an established guy. He's been here for years. He was another guy that was on the WWE network this past week with Evolve Wrestling. He didn't have a match, but he was featured in the beginning of the show, looking jacked in the ring there in Meat Man U, doing the thing. Anyway, so this match, John Silver and Layla Hirsch, starts things off in an exciting matchup. This one was really good, hard hitting, fast paced. Silver's just, he's gotten really good over these years, and the first time I can remember seeing him, he was on a tear a few years back, and he beat he was Ring of Honor champion. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name. I do this. I get mind farts and I forget guys' names. I'm really bad with names. Conrad's bad with dates. I'm bad with names. So anyway, so he was on a tear a while back, and then he ended up with the tag team, him and Alex Reynolds, and now he's kind of back on his own after those two split up a few months ago after Lethal Lottery. So this match with Layla Hirsch, I can't say enough great things about her. She's coming into her own. She's only been in this business, I believe, for a few years. She's one of those young up-and-coming talents that Beyond likes to bring in and likes to move right up the ladder. And last week we saw her do that. She's got a really good moonsault. I'm a sucker for a moonsault, and she's got a really pretty moonsault. And she hit it off of Chris Statlander's shoulders, and it was really cool to see. Very athletic. So this week was, I was looking forward to this match. This one has Silver picking up the win, but there was a little iffy second in the match where you thought that Layla might have gotten hurt, maybe got a bell wrong or hurt her back on a spot onto the middle turnbuckle. So it was a little bit of a gasp in the air for that one, but turns out she's okay, and she continued the match. And it was a good match. She throws some hard shots at Silver, but just couldn't come up. She came up just a little short here as John Silver picks up the win. Her progression and Beyond is it's been really good so far. They've been really she's been picking up the pace, each match has been better than the last. So really waiting to see what comes next for her. And future's really bright there. Alex Reynolds comes out, and he's putting the boots to John Silver, and Hirsch makes a save for him. Hits him with a German suplex, but Ryan pops up and just hits her with a super kick that just looked like it took her head clean off. It's like, bam! I'm like, man, that had to hurt. So we're still. Looks like I don't think it's been announced, but it looks like we're still setting up for Alex Reynolds and John Silver at Americanrana. We've been building that way. It just hasn't been announced yet. But this card is stacked. Unless it has, I don't have the card in front of me. This card's stacked. That's it's one of those things where maybe it was announced and I don't remember because there's just so many matches. This card. I mean, if you don't have your tickets, you're gonna miss out. You got to get there. You got to go to Americanrana because this show, I might sound like a broken record at this point, but this show, it's gonna fuck. It's what it's gonna do. It's just what it is. Beyond puts out killer shows, and when it comes to Americanrana, they deliver. So. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on. We got Butcher and the Blade in action against American Strong. But here's a question. American Strong, Jay Freddy, and Rory Gulak. Excuse me. A couple of guys I've been a fan of for a while. They came out in Catchpoint shirts. And they're selling Catchpoint merch now. I'm wondering if these guys are bringing back Catchpoint. And if they're bringing back Catchpoint, I'm all in, man. I'm here for that. I'm a huge fan of the Catchpoint style. I'm a huge fan of Catchpoint. They're about two things. Competition. That's what we're about. Competition. Okay? Got that? Catchpoint? Two things. Competition. Let's bring it back. So, Butcher and the Blade here pick up a win after a really good match. But this one should be the lead up here being Butcher and the Blade now. They're heading to Americanrana to face the Rock and Roll Express. And this is maybe a warm-up match for him, but Gulak and Freddy look really good, and like I said, I'm really hoping we see more Catchpoint here in the future. So Butcher and Blade, they get Rock and Roll Express and Americanrana. To me, that's a coveted match. If you're a tag team in independent wrestling, Rock and Roll Express is legendary. You know, the old NWA days, back in the day, Mid-South, all the old territory days, 70s and 80s. These guys were the Young Bucks before the Young Bucks. I'm sure I'm not talking to an audience that doesn't know who the Rock and Roll Express are, but this is exciting. I saw their match, the Rock and Roll Express match with EYFBO, WrestleMania weekend. I didn't see it live. I saw it online. But man, you know, that was a really good match. Really, really good stuff. To show that these guys at the ages of 50 something plus, so 60 years old, they can still go. They still have something left in the tank, and I can't wait to see it live for the first time. See these guys. And Butcher and the Blade are two very talented men who can go in the ring, and I think that their styles will kind of clash a little bit with Butcher and the Blade. Here I go again. I'm talking about Americanrana before I wanted to talk about Americanrana. I'm excited about Americanrana and what all will unfold with that. So I digressed a little bit and started getting into my Americanrana talk. Let's push that off. Let's continue on with the show, but we'll put a pin in it for a minute and just know that it's a coveted match to have as a tag team, and I think Butcher and the Blade are going to pull it off. It's going to be a really good match. So the next match on the show is Discovery Gauntlet. Christian Casanova, Cam Zagami, Club Cam, are coming out to face Red Death Daniel Garcia. I wasn't aware of Daniel Garcia before this match, but I am now, and you should be too. Daniel Garcia is a young and up-and-coming guy, and he's very talented. He got the win here over Christian Casanova, who was going into his 4th week in the Gauntlet, in a minute 28. And I note this because it was announced by Rich Palladino that Red Death Daniel Garcia won in a minute 28, which is remarkable in this tournament. Really cool, quick match. Garcia won with submission, and then kills Cam. He just killed him. That's what you get, Cam. You know, Cam's the guy made there. You know, Club Cam, for turning on my boy Tom Santel and screwing him over, costing him that gauntlet. Yeah, I still hold a little bit of a grudge. But I digress. Cam get the shit kicked out of him. Red Death Fox. Great match. So hopefully this doesn't mean the last of Casanova, because Casanova is a great talent, hell of a wrestler, very charismatic, good high flying stuff. And I've talked about before in the podcast here that I've seen him a bunch, and I've seen him early in his career also. So I'm really happy to see progression of him and success. So the next match, let me see here, notes. Yes, Captain Dickey himself. The Filthy Father, the Putrid Papa, the Captain Dickey on our boat ride to hell. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory here. Over the weekend, Chris Dickinson posted a video saying he probably wasn't going to work this match. He's been dealing with an issue with his back and sciatica, and you know, for somebody who myself, I've got degenerative disc disease in my back. I've got two very bad discs, my L3 and L4, that I need to have fused together. I've just been putting it off for years. The back pain isn't something that's fun and nothing you want to deal with. And Dickinson's not a guy who's going to pop some pills and go out there and have a half-ass match. He wants to perform, and he's been on this tear, this hell of a run. You know, that he's leading up to Daisuke Sekimoto at Americanrana, and it's just, he's been on this tear, and we've talked about it week in and week out. How much is Dickinson, you know, is he overdoing it a little bit here? You know, is he putting himself out there a little bit too much? Is he putting too much on the line in preparation for this match? Because I is he out to prove something? And if he's trying too hard to make that point, and he's putting his back, his health at risk here, maybe he should think twice. Maybe he should dial it back. But that's not the Captain Dickie we know. That's not Dick Strings Dickinson. That's not what he does. He brings it. And he did it tonight. He showed up for this match against Fred Yehi, his former, back to the Catch Point, his former teammate in Catch Point just a few years ago. So he brought it. He showed up, and him and Yehi, they didn't leave anything out there. They beat the hell out of each other. They went blow for blow, kick for kick, shot for shot, and it was a really good match. And my hat's off to Dickinson for even competing in this match. Go check this one out if you haven't seen it yet. And just like, so Beyond tweeted earlier in the week, and they asked if we were to put together, if they were to put together like a greatest matches from Uncharted Territory, which matches would you want? And I'm like, just give me everything Dickinson did. Just like every match Dickinson has been in Uncharted Territory has been a Sully. It's been a fucking banger. So just give me every Dickinson match you got, and let me watch that over and over. And if you're a young professional wrestler coming up in the ranks and you need, you're learning the ropes, watch these matches, because you're going to learn. You're going to learn a lot from Dickinson here, and especially Yehi. Yehi is a hell of a talent, and the guy can go. He's that catch point style, that grapple fuck style, but he's also got that technical. He's got that technical style, but he's also got that mean streak where he'll punch you right in the mouth and kick you right in the nuts. And speaking of kicking in the nuts, that's what he did to Dickinson after Dickinson got the win. Fred Yehi gave him a shot to the nuts when Dickinson tried to give him the catch point handshake. So, and then he walked off. So, yeah, that was it. Dickinson, we're not. We do know. Okay, I was going to say we're not sure who his opponent is, but I personally was kind of hoping that we would see Dickinson and Jaka. That was kind of where I was hoping we were going. Just because I miss Jaka. I loved Doom Patrol back in the day. It was like not even a year ago, 6 months, 8 months ago. But we haven't had Jaka and Beyond in a while. And I know he's moved to Florida and he's not really wrestling as much as he was before. But I was really hoping that we would get that as the closing match going into Americanrana. But as I'm not that disappointed in what we got. Dickinson, in his quest to prove that he's the toughest son of a bitch since Stone Cold Steve Austin, my words, not his. Dickinson's next opponent, 5 days, right? We got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days. 4 days before Americanrana. He's got stupid phone. It's going to ring for a minute. Sorry, guys. It's annoying. I'm not getting up to answer it. So, he's got just the 4 or 5 days before Americanrana. He's facing Timothy Thatcher. Yeah. Timothy. I'm going to say it right into the microphone. Timothy Thatcher. He's facing Timothy Thatcher right before Daisuke Sekimoto Americanrana. Chris, your back is already hurting. What are you doing? What are you trying to prove? I really hope that you're not leaving it all out there and you still have something for Daisuke Sekimoto come Americanrana. And I know you will, because you're the dirty daddy. You got this, Chris. I can't wait for that one. Timothy Thatcher. Fuck yes. Alright, so on to the next match. We have Nick Gage and Thomas Santel versus Rich Holiday and Ken Doane. And this is nice. This puts a little bow on what's been happening over the last couple weeks with Rich Holiday and Nick Gage and Ken Doane coming out and talking shit to all the Beyond fans. So I'm going to say that Holiday and Ken Doane are probably one. No, you know what? I won't say Holiday's just tie. They're two of the three most hated wrestlers in Beyond right now. The third being Chuck O'Neil, of course. But this was a good quick match. I really enjoyed this one. Really love this one because this one, again, every match is setting up Americanrana. Every match is getting us to where we need to go on July 28th. And this match here, no different, because we weren't sure who Nick Gage's tag team partner is going to be going into Americanrana. He's going to pick his opponent, or pick his tag partner, excuse me. And this match, this was a good, quick match. Really good, really fun. And Thomas Santel and Nick Gage got the win. So they put a nice little bow on this little story and in this little part of going into the next part and getting them to Americanrana as a tag team who've never really tagged before together, and this was their first time. Crowd calling Nerder Death Kill, or Nerd Death Kill, I think is what they're going as now. So check out my timeline on Twitter. At DDS Squad Pod, or at Real Len Anderson, or you could check out at Sports Entertainment Experience on Twitter. There's a really good video that they tweeted out today, hyping Nerder Death Kill versus the Chop and Roll Express of Brian Alvarez and Filthy Tom Lawler. Really cool, really good video, and it hypes the hell out of that match. But before we get to Americanrana, again, we have one big show Wednesday night. Wednesday's going to be a hell of a show. If you can be there, be in Worcester Wednesday night, because this show is going to be such a great lead into Americanrana. I just feel it. Next week, when we talk about putting bows on stories and tying things up nice and neat, we're going to get Thomas Santel and Nick Gage versus Cam Zagami and Christian Casanova. So that story is in and of itself how we get here, because if it wasn't for Cam and Christian Casanova, Thomas Santel could very well still be in the gauntlet match. He could still be running roughshod, because the guy hasn't really lost since he lost to Cam. I'm sorry, since he lost to Casanova with help from Cam. So that's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to that. And then, like I said, the bow on the story. Let's wrap that up and let's get to Americanrana versus Chop and Roll Express. And go watch that video, because I'm telling you, it gave me chills, and it hyped me even more for Americanrana, which I didn't know was possible. So the next match, Wheeler Yuta versus Brandon Thurston. This is a match I didn't know I wanted until I saw it, to tell you the truth. Brandon Thurston, if you go back to the secret show in Boston that we dubbed Shh, it's a secret. The secret show was a really good match, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see the guy again. And we got him here again against Wheeler Yuta, and these guys wrestled a really good technical style, really good match. Thurston always looks good. He's just, I don't know what it is, I don't know why I hadn't seen him before. Before they brought him back with Beyond, because the guy's great, and I hope to see more of him here in Beyond. And this was a great showcase for him too. Wheeler Yuta picked up the win, and then we got Chuck O'Neal hitting the ring immediately. Chuck O'Neal, that's dirty son of a. Anyway, again, I don't have the card in front of me, but I would think that we're heading to O'Neal and Yuta at Rana. I keep saying I don't have the card in front of me. Let me pull the card up, because I hate to keep having to second guess this card. Alright, so what do we got here? We got Americanrana 2019. Let's check it out on Look Ma No Fans. Let's see, lookmanofans.com or beyondwrestlingonline.com. Let's see if we got the card up here. Yep, there we go. We got some matches here. And I'm looking through here, and I do not see Yuta versus... nope. Yuta and Chuck O'Neal are not listed on this card yet. So, that's not to say it's not going to be, but I think we're building up to that. And if we're not, then maybe soon, because this has been really good. I'm sure Yuta's going to want his payback for the butt whooping he got from him this week. So it's been a good story. And like I say, and this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the podcast, where we're telling cohesive stories. We're getting continuous stories, continuity that's there each week, where you don't get that anywhere else. You know, you get a story that's dropped after 3 weeks, after 2 weeks, or after 1 week, even, because they can't get a guy to come into the territory, or, you know, they're not using homegrown talent. But this is a great continuous story. This whole, this is like the big thing, you know, as I talk about, we're building up to Americanrana. Everything's been like a continuous story that's cohesive and easy to follow and easy to understand. And just the people at Beyond, and we talked about this in our interview with John Sebastian of Feast Championship Wrestling and Beyond Wrestling. We talked about Drew Cordero, Denver, Colorado, just not getting the props sometimes that he deserves. I think that he is a creative genius. I think that he is the mastermind behind all of this. And when I say my hat's off to you, sir. Indeed, I kudos and I thank you for providing us with the great content each week, and everybody else that works alongside you. This is great stuff, and it really, I got a passion for it, and that's why we're here. Next match, Chris Statlander versus Solo Darling. This one, I would have thought could have been the main event, because we kind of talked about it last week, where Chris Statlander had this big announcement. What was she doing? Where is she going? Is she signing? Is she not signing? And her announcement was that she wanted, that it was going to be her and Kimberly at Americanrana. But then Solo interrupted and said, "Hey, I've been on this hell of a tear. There's one set of legs I haven't caught yet, and that's yours, and I'm coming for those legs." And well, she came for the legs this week, and this match is, up to this point, was probably match of the night, and that's saying a lot on this card. That you know, don't underestimate anything else you've seen or I've said before this. That's saying a lot, that this could have been, and this was up to this point, match of the night. Yeah, Chris Statlander is just, she's on another level herself, and Solo Darling caught the loss in this match, and this is the first time she's lost. Probably, I'd have to go back and look, but I don't think she's lost on Uncharted Territory. She might have been, well, I think she lost in a 6-person tag, or in a six woman tag team match, but I don't think she took the pin. I think somebody else got the pin. But that's just off the top of my head. I could go back to my notes and look here in my book, but I don't think she's lost in Beyond Wrestling since, in Uncharted Territory, since the inception back in April, which is saying a lot now that Chris Statlander got the win. And we're still building up to Chris Statlander and Kimberly at Americanrana, July 28th, Foxwoods Resort Casino. But this announcement after the match completely blew my mind, completely shocked the system, shocked me. After the match, Chris Statlander thanks Solo Darling for a great match, and then says, "Hey, Kimber, at Americanrana, you're not going to be able to get away from me. We're going to be locked inside a steel cage." Now, I don't know if Beyond's ever done a steel cage match before. I've gone back and I've looked, and I haven't seen it, but I might have missed it. They may have in the past, and I'm not aware of it. I don't claim to be a historian by any sense of the imagination or anything like that. But what I do know is I've kind of looked for it and I didn't see any. So this could be the very first cage match in Beyond Wrestling history. And I can't wait to be there in person for that one. You know, that's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun match. It's going to be great to be up there, up close in person for. And this is going to be a great match to begin with. But, you know, you add in that gimmick of the cage, and it raises the bar. And I'm super excited for that. I mean, wow. Just wow. So that brings us to the main event of the evening. Brings us to Josh Briggs versus the retrosexual Anthony Green with the Platinum Honeys. So, a little bit of context. Last Saturday's podcast, not the one that we discussed Beyond Wrestling, but the one where we discussed the weekend of wrestling with Conrad and myself that that we published on over the weekend. Came out Sunday for you guys. Josh Briggs and Anthony Green, retro Anthony Green, opened the Evolve 10th anniversary show on the WWE Network. They were the first match, first guys out to shoot, and they set the pace for the show, and they did a hell of a job with it. So here we are, fast forward from Saturday to Wednesday, and you get Josh Briggs and retrosexual Anthony Green with the Honeys. There's a difference here. And beyond, you're getting that different version of AG. You're getting them with the Honeys. And Evolve, you're not getting the Honeys. You're not getting retrosexual. You're just getting retro AG, the leader of the fanny pack. That guy. So this one opens up. Josh Briggs just blasts the Honeys. I mean, like, where the hell did that come from? He just freaking took them out. Like, and I think he had to do something to psych himself into a position where he can have another match with his best friend, and it had to be something that there had to be a reason or something like that that just kind of like, he's like, yeah, I gotta bring it. This isn't just, I gotta make sure that, you know, I gotta turn a different switch. I gotta be a different person. And by attacking the girls, he kind of did that, and which was crazy. But it was hot. What a hot match. It was great. Josh Briggs ended up picking up the win, though. He picked up the win, but that's not from a lack of AG's expertise and attempts and you know, hitting big moves and bringing it. It just wasn't his night. Josh Briggs got the win again. This one was a really good match, and didn't really get anything there for Americanrana besides, you know, we know that it's Briggs versus Johnny Foxwoods, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Nitro, Johnny Hennigan, Johnny Impact, Johnny wherever he is at the time. Marketing, Johnny Foxwoods. Him and Johnny Foxwoods at Americanrana, and I don't know what we got for AG. I hear he may be in the Feast Championship Wrestling ladder match, which, you know, whoever we can get in there to keep that belt off of Ken Doan, you know, I don't care if it's got to be me out of retirement. We got to keep this belt off of Ken Doan. We got to do what we got to do, and make sure that we just make sure that Ken Doan does not leave Americanrana with the Feast Championship Wrestling Championship, by hook or by crook, right? And they've been doing a really good job of hyping this one on Twitter. They've been on the championship match on Twitter. They've been reaching out to talents, Coco Beware, anybody they could think of, and they've been sending videos saying, hey, make sure we keep that belt off of Ken Doan. So that's the biggest point here we can make, is we're keeping that belt off of Ken Doan, because the guy's a dick. We don't want to see that belt on him. He's an asshole. So that's it for this show. So like I said, this one built up really well for Americanrana. Let me see if I got anything else in my notes. Nope, that's all I got. So that's a good show. So let's quickly kind of tease what we got for Americanrana here. Let's go over what we know that is an advertised match. So like we were just talking about the Feast Championship Wrestling ladder match featuring Cheeseburger, who is your Feast Championship Wrestling champion right at this time. We know Ken Doan is in it, and we know that AG is in it. From what I hear, we're supposed to get maybe another 5 or 6 guys in that match. It's going to be a lot of guys in that match. So anything we do to keep the belt off of Ken Doan, that's what we got to remember. Bear Country versus LAX. I can't wait for that one. I just mean, you know, that right there is for that match will determine the tag team aces of Beyond Wrestling. LAX's future, we've heard the rumblings, the rumors, the innuendo that's out there. Not my window, in your window. That's out there about LAX, EYFBO signing with WWE or AEW now that their Impact contracts are up. And either choice they make, Very happy for these guys. These are two cool, down-to-earth dudes that I'd love to talk sneakers with. Ryan's had some great conversations with them about Jordans, and you know, if you know us in the squad, you know we're sneakerheads on top of wrestling heads, and you know, I'm really happy for these guys. I hope the best for them. As sad as it is that we won't have them anymore, you know, we haven't seen much of them in the last few months anyway, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure when the last time we saw them really was. May have been, I'm not sure. But, you know, I digress again here. I'm really happy for whatever they do in the future. Hopefully, personally, I'm not sure where I want to see him go. You know, I'm a fan of AEW, and I watch WWE. I'm a fan of WWE. Not as big as I used to be, but, you know, it's what it is. But I could see, like, it's like I think about them going to WWE, and I'm like, ooh, they could have really good matches with the Usos or Dash and Dawson, you know, whatever those guys are. You know, they can have some really good matches with those guys. But then again, you got AEW, and they've got a really good tag division themselves, with SCU, with the Young Bucks, Boy and His Dinosaur. You know, there's a lot going on there with the tag team division. So tag team wrestling is really where it's at right now, and I hope good things for them in the future. If that is indeed the truth, and you know, not just a random rumor that we're reading on Reddit. Kimberly and Chris Statlander, we talked about the cage match. Really excited for that one. Tom Lawler and Brian Alvarez versus Thomas Santel and Nick Gage. That one's just... go watch the video. I'm telling you, go watch that video. It's going to give you chills. Here's one we don't talk very much about. This one, oh my goodness. Orange Cassidy and Artie Evans. Artie Evans, if you don't know the story, Artie Evans was a WWE independent wrestler turned WWE producer, writer. Excuse me. And he quit the night of the Hall of Fame because of the incident with Bret Hart using Vince McMahon's name in his thank you speech. The most asinine reason to have to quit a job. But he did. And when the first thing he decided was he wanted to have a match with Orange Cassidy. And that match is taking place at Americanrana, and I'm really looking forward to that one. I love Orange, and if you want to meet Orange Cassidy, here's the thing too, I haven't mentioned. You want to meet Orange Cassidy, Joey Janela, and the Rock and Roll Express, head on over, and now Anthony Green also, head on over to K&M All-Star Sports and Foxwoods in the outlet section, the Tanger outlet section, and these guys will be doing autograph sessions and meet and greets over there at K&M All-Star Sports, I believe starting at like 11 o'clock and going right till noon. So check them out, head on over there, and meet some of your favorite wrestlers from Beyond Wrestling. We got Butcher Blade, Rock and Roll Express. We talked about that one. What a freaking honor that's going to be for them to work with the Rock and Roll Express. And Butcher and the Blade, they're not shabby. These guys can go. They're great wrestlers. This is going to be a fun match. This is going to be a really good fun match. Josh Briggs versus Johnny Foxwoods, aka John Hennigan. We just talked about that briefly. That's going to be a good match too. That's where Josh is going to he's going to be able to kind of like put his name out there on another level. You know, right now with Evolve, he's getting out there, and I think he's like the next big guy for Evolve. He might win that Evolve championship very soon. But Johnny Foxwoods is a former WWE guy, former Impact guy. He's been everywhere. And another rumor is his contract's up with Impact, so he can go wherever he wants. I know from what I've read, he wants to parlay wrestling into acting and then kind of wrestle independently here and there, which is great for us because there's another guy who will be on the circuit. Maybe we'll see a little more often. But this match is going to be good. And this is a contrast of styles. Josh Briggs, the big, his finisher is a choke bomb, big pop-up choke slam power bomb combo. John Hennigan, he's a guy who's that parkour style, that that flips, that flippy shit, that type of stuff. But he can also technical wrestle a bit. So that one's gonna be good. I'm really looking forward to that one. Chris Dickinson and Daisuke Sekimoto. So Sekimoto's coming over to the country, and I believe he's wrestling 4 times that weekend. Maybe it's 3. I could be wrong, but so he's wrestling just those 4 times. And I'm not sure what his schedule is in Japan, if he's still a full-time guy over there. But I know Chris Dickinson is wrestling 3-4 times a week and putting on fucking clinics. Okay, Dirty Daddy's bringing it, but you also have to wonder, going back to my point I made earlier, how's the back? Is Chris overdoing it? Is he going to be 100% come Americanrana when he faces Daisuke Sekimoto? Not sure. We'll have to wait and see. And he's got Timothy Thatcher this coming Wednesday night. So that's another one where it's like, oh, Chris. God damn. I can't wait. And then the main event, Joey Janela versus Davey Wrestling, Mr. Americanrana, the cream in your coffee, blah, 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 blah. David Starr in a 60-minute Iron Man match. Like, these are just 6 matches I have in front of us, right? And it's like, so David Starr and Joey Janela, that's a story that's been out there. David Starr claiming to be the ace of Beyond Wrestling after beating Donovan Dijak on his way out. And then being on a hell of a run himself. But Joey Janela is kind of on that same hell of a run, same tier. Like, they're both, like, they're running neck and neck with each other, right? And Joey's kind of, like, now coming up a little bit higher because Joey's got this contract and Joey's on this national platform with AEW and like, this is Joey's goodbye to the indies. These guys had last year the death match. Oh my god, the death match last year, Americanrana. Fucking loved it. And now this is like the 3rd match in the series, and they have the fans bring the weapons match, they have the death match, and now this 60-minute Iron Man match. This is going to be the end of the story for these two, and you know, it's like bittersweet, but I can't wait to see it. And hopefully, I know Joey's been tearing it up too, and David Starr, he's always wrestling a ton over in the UK and Europe, and you know, and here in the States also. But both these guys going into Americanrana, you know, I wonder. I know Joey said that he's a little banged up, a little chipped up. Hopefully, you know, he'll be good to go, and David Starr will be good to go. But 60 minutes, Iron Man. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be fun. I can't wait. This whole card, and these are just the 6 matches that we've talked about, and I've also said that I think nothing's been announced, but I think we're going to see, you know, just following the story, Wheeler Yuta versus Chuck O'Neal. Maybe we don't. Maybe we see it at another time. Maybe that's at the finale for season 1 of Uncharted Territory, and then Alex Reynolds and John Silver. So those are 2 more matches that easily can be added to this card. I'd also think you could see some more of the women slipped in here. I think maybe the Top Dogs might end up somewhere because they've just been producing hell of segments, hell of good segments lately. And Hot Scoop Skylar is one of my favorite heels right now in the business. I really like the edges she's gotten. So maybe we see some more matches added this Wednesday night. So watch this Wednesday night, Uncharted Territory, episode 17 from Worcester, Massachusetts. The White Eagle. Drop down, get your eagle on, girl. And this will be our last match. This is our go-home show before Americanrana. And I just went over this card with you, and man, it's a dope card. And this is going to be a really cool show. You're going to want to be there in person. So check out foxwoods.com and get your tickets. In the meantime, check us out at DDS Squad Pod on Twitter, where you get your podcasts. Check us out on YouTube at the DDS Squad. You can check us out on Instagram, Dudope Shit Squad. On Twitter, Dudope Shit Squad. At Real Len Anderson on Twitter. And of course, you know, until then, until next time, do dope shit, guys. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you in Worcester Wednesday night.